Excuse me! Taxi!
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
Well, joining us to talk about all of this, we have KT McFarland, former Deputy National Security Advisor. And KT, I want to read everybody first the breaking news.
Breaking news, WABC.
And KT, this just coming out, President Trump just put it up a moment ago. It says, as per the Iranian government request, please let this statement serve to represent I'm pausing the period of energy plant destruction for 10 days to Monday, April 6th at 8 p.m. Eastern time, by the way. Talks are ongoing despite erroneous statements to the contrary by the fake news media like Ed was talking about. How do you read that, KT?
They're seriously negotiating, but who is Iran? You know, we don't really know. Is it Arghachi? Is it the foreign minister? Is it somebody else? We really don't know because they don't know. Trump has so scrambled the brains. I mean, he is so like living in the heads of the Iranian leadership that we don't really know because they don't meet in a room with more than two people. They know that if they go to a room and there are two people there, they're killed. They also know that Donald Trump and particularly the Mossad knows exactly where they are at all times. So when they come out, who knows who they are, and they say, we're not negotiating, there's nothing going on here. And President Trump says, no, they're desperate for change. They want a deal. They are desperate for a deal. But as they are now in the position of having seen all of their colleagues being killed, they now have to look to the guy on the left and say, wait, is he the one that's cooperating with Trump? Am I the one that, the guy on the right? What does he know? Is he a Mossad agent? They have so penetrated the leadership of Iran, military, clerical, political leadership of Iran, that the Iranian leadership is just in chaos. So I do believe there are a lot of people trying to negotiate with President Trump. And what he's looking for is, he keeps saying, like the Venezuela solution. The Venezuela solution is you find people who are in place. You may not like them. They may have a lot of crimes on their rap sheet. They may not be good guys. But will they do what we want them to do, and will they continue to run their country? We don't want an occupation. We don't want to put gazillions of troops on the ground. This is not George W. Bush. We want to do what we did in Venezuela. Find the people in the regime, first tier, second tier, side tier, and will they work with us and do what we want? And what has President Trump said we want? No nukes, no missiles, and no proxies that will challenge the United States. And then add on to the fourth request demand is that clear the Strait of Hormuz.
So the issue that I have here in this case, and we talked about, I'm looking at Judge Weinberg, KT, as we're talking about this, that these people are so fanatical. They are true believers. I mean, they're like the kamikaze pilots that were going into Pearl Harbor. And I feel like Maduro's people were, obviously, they're not good guys. There's no question. But they were not as sort of fanatical. These are, diehards. And that's why I'm not sure how long it's going to take. They may take a little longer to pound to submission, if you will.
Here's what they're doing, Rita. They're looking at, right, you're absolutely right. I mean, these are zealous. They want to be martyrs. They want to go whatever they plan to do with all the virgins in heaven. They're not going to.
I don't know if we want to know.
My recollection is that's very hard work, KT.
But, you work the tier, you work it down the tier, and there's somebody who's going to say, hey, wait a minute. I didn't sign up for this. I don't want to be a martyr. I want to have my power. I want to, retain my privileges. I want to have whatever my, status is in my country. So I guess, maybe I'll cut a deal with America. And so that's who they're looking for. Now, the reason that this is important is Mossad has so thoroughly penetrated. They know exactly who's going to cut a deal, who's not going to cut a deal. And the report that the Wall Street Journal had, the tape actually, a phone conversation tape Wall Street Journal had about a week ago, was that Mossad was calling these second-tier people and saying, hey, Colonel, I know who you are. I know where your family lives. I want to tell you, step aside, put down your arms, don't join the fight, and you'll live. And then there was one tape where whoever it was, in the Iranian military intelligence services said, hey, wait, I know I'm a dead man. Just save my family. I will lay down my arms. And so they're having that level of conversation. And if you look at the pictures of who they're, taking out, so there's something called the besiege, which is like the guys who are on the motorcycles and they're thugs and they wear masks and they go around. And historically what they've done is they've grabbed women who don't have the right headscarves and they've arrested them and they've raped them and they put them in prison and killed them. These guys have set up checkpoints at various places in Tehran and other major cities of Iran. And the checkpoints are like, are you wearing the right headscarves? Or are you trying to protest? We're going to demand that you don't protest. We're going to shoot you if you do. And so what's happened is that we, the Israelis and us, have such pinpoint accuracy that we can take out that checkpoint. We can leave the building to the left, leave the building to the right intact. We can take out the besiege checkpoint and destroy it.
That is amazing. What about nose hairs? Can you get that?
Well, but the point being that President Trump, and he's great. He said we've destroyed their Navy, their Air Force, their air defense systems, their the factories that make missiles, the factories that make drones. We have, but not 100%. We've done maybe 75% with this one, 90% with that one. And so what's now happening is that the military targeting, not the targeting of the energy infrastructure, but the targeting of the military infrastructure, we're now finishing the job. We're now going from 75% to 95%.
Ed Cox.
So, KT, tell us about the news that just came out that the Russians are supplying Iran with drones and other military equipment. How is that getting to them, and what impact do you think it's having?
Well, remember, there was that great alliance, right? China, Russia, Iran, North Korea. And so far, China and Russia have not stepped up. They made a lot of, statements, but they maybe have shared, the Russians particularly maybe shared some intelligence, but they've not actually shown up with ships, with hardware. And are they trying to show up with hardware and ships? Yeah, but I just think that alliance, that great vaunted alliance of the axis of evil, they have not really done their deeds. Mostly China said, I want cheap oil from you, and otherwise you're on your own. Russia has said, oh, well, I want your drones because I need them from Ukraine, but otherwise you're on your own. And so I'm not giving it a lot of credence. I think it'll make a slight difference. But look, Ed, the military operation that the United States has just pulled off, they're going to be studying this for the next 30 years at West Point and Annapolis and the Coast Guard Academy and the Air Force Academy. And this will be just the gold standard of how do you defeat an adversary like this. And when you think of Iran as one of the major world military powers, we have just dealt with them and destroyed maybe 75, 80%, 90% of their entire military in 3 weeks' time. And we have had less than 20 Americans have died. Less than 200 Americans have been wounded. This, in the history of military warfare, is one of the most extraordinary achievements ever.
Yeah, no doubt. It is really remarkable what we've seen. This accomplishment, KT, I agree. People are going to be talking about it. The fact that they took out 40 leaders in 40 seconds, basically right away. That alone gets the,
wow.
And just like got the Navy guy. I mean, it's like every day. It's been remarkable. KT, thank you. We love your perspective.
It's a great pleasure and honor. Thank you.
Thank you so much.